Right, folks, I'm going to be reviewing this, part 2 of this. I've got all those extras. Right, and it's also mentioned in this book, and this is why you should have stitched binder. Because it just fall to pieces if you just use glue. Got to have the stitched binder. Anyhow, so this video will actually show you the money in terms of seeing actual Castrovalva, actual recursive stuff in Castrovalva, which is named after an early Escher painting that wasn't visually mental. Now this is a later one, and let's have a look at my volume level. Oh, it's going up again, but I think I'll turn that down. So, as you can see here, very good perspective. So it's got very good technique. But then if you look at the steps, those steps, the way they keep going up and up and up. So if we have a look at some of the design of, because this is mirrored a little bit in Doctor Who, you've got these arches and pillars, columns rather, a little bit there with the, we'll just see how much this is actually matched in the set design. Is there a grill on that one? There might be a grill on there. Right, let's have a look at the other Escher impossible constructions. Some of them are not as good as others. It's a low resolution print, that one's. I'll make that bigger for people. Again, that's not quite. This one's quite good. So if you look at the ladder at the bottom and then an impossible construction. We've got some bars in arches. I don't know if that's sort of comes up again. I don't know what this woman's thinking down here. This is an impossible construction. That woman, how did she get up there? Right, that's the other one before, not quite as good. This one will show the principle better of what Escher was doing. So you got water, and then suddenly it's there. So it's almost as if he is mocking perspective in our view on the world. And it's very much enhanced by the fact that he uses very, very good technique and is a master of perspective. So it's because he has mastered the form that he is able to deconstruct it. So a little message there for all the deconstructionists out there: is master the form first. Right. Right. So now if we move on to the episode, and this was just something weird. Just this little house I walked past on Wednesday. Small house. Look at the cars they got though. 2 Range Rovers, a sports car. Oh, and it gets better. A Rolls Royce. No, 2 Rolls Royces, 2 Range Rovers, and a sports car outside a small house. I'm thinking a single guy's living there, maybe. Right, so now we're in the program. Now we're in it. Right. People can read that. People can pause that and read it themselves, unless the picture goes bad. I'll read it out. Right, that should be clear enough for people. Right, it's not strictly relevant to the stories that from episode 1. Right, then what we got here? Again, that's not strictly relevant. We're converting the mass of the deleted TARDIS room, but it is about ideas. Right. If you taught me, this is about the recursion theme. If you taught me something, as a scientist, it's easy to be tyrannized by facts. Ooh. Ambient complexity is the cause of many of these failures of regeneration. What have we got here? Zero environment. So this is why they go to Castrovalva, because the data bank tells them to. Right. And what we got here? Right, because it's regenerated. Oh, here we go. Dwellings of simplicity, named more formally as Castrovalva, the central habitation on the planet that forms the Andromedan Farlock series. Now let's get back to. That's quite good dialogue. So this air hostess person's flying it, eh? Well, I wish her the best of luck. Right, we've got standard here. Now the guy that wrote this was he was an actor, but then he became a journalist of scientific articles. Right, anyway, we'll go past that. Now we actually get to Castrovalva, the city on the hill. So this looks a little bit like an early Escher painting that wasn't mental. And then that's the end of episode 2. There's not much recursion in that one, so that's why I didn't do a separate video. And this looks like Jack. There we go. These are some interesting costumes. And I just did it for that reason. Castle, again, you can see the weird costumes. Sort of a punky type. What's this? Oh yes, that's quite a good line actually. Was there ever a man with such capacity to lose both his quarry and himself? Right, there are some of these are put in because of some good lines. Right. Who are you, stranger? That's the strangest thing of all. I'm not entirely sure. Right. Close without a trace. Okay. Right, now this is an example of SE versus NE. So close without a trace. So trying to get it in there. If we had a 3 micron beam wedge though, so if we had this, the NE type, the SE type, well, we haven't. And then this replies, this check here. I said if. You taught me about if, remember? SE type, it's not that sort of if. It's what we can do with what we've got. If only we used a bit of initiative. Come on. Yep. Tactical intelligence, what you use with what you've got. Right. I don't know why I put that in. He doesn't know, and maybe it's a setup to he says he doesn't know who he is or why he's come. Oh, I admire a man with an open mind. That's quite a good line. My own is closed upon the opinion that I am Shardavan. Shardovan was detained by being longer in the body than the available habiliments could match, so his trousers weren't long enough. A mild medicament distilled from herbs. Medicament, that's a good word. Right. A master of... Are you a doctor? A master of physics? Yes. Not the doctor, I suppose. Right, there's Jack again. Right, big tapestry. Who's that? Right. We'll get to the recursion in a moment, so... Right, there's some more good dialogue. What going so soon? Oh, what's this? Whether for some offence we've given or just a sudden fancy, I cannot say. He cannot leave. Oh. Right, now we're getting to the sets. So the arches and the columns. Now so you have to build a set of something that's an impossible construction. So that's a tricky job for the production team. Right. So we've got the arches, columns. Again, arches, columns. Right, this is a good funny as well. Which is the quickest way out of here? Now, and because it's an impossible construction, they point in all different directions. Yes, well, that's democracy for you. Come on. Good point there. We've got arches. Right, and then again, they're getting lost in there because of the recursion. I don't remember this. Never mind, come on. Right, and then here we go, here. I always did have a terrible sense of direction. Still, as long as we keep going down. But you see, he keeps going down and ending up back at the courtyard. So you've got the recursion there. And he's coming round again. It's impossible. And then they're back at the town square. Every time they go down, they reach the square. Oh, I beg you, Doctor, please reconsider this hasty departure. We've got here. Right, and then he keeps getting this recursion. Doctor, what's happening? Just concentrate. This could be serious. Yeah, and in the actual program, this wobbles as it goes down. You can see the studio wall up here. This is supposed to be sky. It's as if space has been folded in on itself. Right, yeah, so we're going to try to get a science fiction-y explanation for what's going on. Right, so we're getting towards the end of episode 3. Oh, it's affecting him. Some very complex spatial disturbance. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll actually pull the mic out. Some very complex spatial disturbance. Right? Folding in on it, so he thinks the space is folding in on itself deliberately. Let's have a look at what the mic says. The mic says I want to turn that down a bit. Right. So what you're getting here is, because it's getting towards the end of episode 3. Now, on commentary, he apologized for the overacting, because you get for the end of episode acting where it becomes more dramatic. So he looks out the window and sees, although we can't really see it because it's really possible, recursive occlusion. Someone's manipulating Castrovalva. We're caught in a space-time trap. So all they really could do at the time with the technology was this. That's about it. That's all they could do. Fiona coming. Right, now we're on episode 4. And this is where you get some good explanations. Right. Be careful. If I'm right, the occlusion won't be dangerous to you at this point. The only trouble will be finding the way. The book must be 500 years old. That's the point. Now that's odd. I'm going to find out why. That's very odd indeed. That's square again. We keep coming back to it. Of course. But you must see there's something going wrong here. There are, as you have observed, steps that rise from the square and others that lead downwards from it, while others walks debouch laterally. An equitable arrangement, surely, allowing for much variety of movement. You're not going to tell me don't it? There is an exemplary vista from here view. You're not going to tell me that you don't. They must know. They're all in this together. They would be if they were not part of the recursion. Nissa thinks they're part of the recursion. Yes, fine view down into the water tower. Oh, right. That water tower might be a reference to that earlier painting. That one. This one here. The water tower. Now, I've not lost my space. Right, this is where it looks down. Right, water tower. Right. Right, here's an example of recursion. How do I know you're telling the truth? Because, sir, I maintain I am. And I am a man of my word. A perfect example of recursion, Murgrave. And recursion is exactly what we're up against. Now he's trying to prove to him that is part of a recursion. Draw me a square, large as you can. Draws it. Good. Now in the square, a rough map of Castrovalva. And then we come back to this scene. And again, the library, the square. Now the library, the square. So that was the library up there. This is the square. The Portrait's house. And then asks him, where is your pharmacy? Based on how he gets there with his steps, he then draws where his pharmacy is. It's up there. It's down there. It's down there. And along here also. It's 4 pharmacies in a small place like this? No, sir. I have but one. Yeah, the idea's coming through, eh? You positioned it 4 times? It may be approached, sir, by many different routes. Valeriana officinalis centicularia europea. And just a hint of rosemary. You understand medicine, Doctor? Not as well as you. But I'm afraid one of us is deluded about geography. Right, so you just put all that stuff in about the drink in order to have that line, one of us is deluded about geography. Right. And then he asks him where the Portrait's house is, because he's just asked where the pharmacy was. Nothing is more certain, sir. Well put. Show us on the map. This is the Portrait's house. Along here. Down there. And there. Round here. The doctor has been explaining to me. I almost grasped it. There is something wrong with the map. Something amiss with the map. There is something amiss with Castrovalva. But because your perception is part of it, you cannot see it. I'm a rational man, sir. Explain this interesting idea. Yes, well, I'm afraid that would take some doing. It's a complicated thing, this recursion business. That's what. Right, why are all these women here? Is this a holiday? What funny that is. Right. Arches, columns. We have some good dialogue here. You're the man I want. Explain yourself, sir. You're the only man here who could not be persuaded to join the hunting ritual. My natural indolence would not permit it. Your intelligence would not permit it. You suspected the whole tradition was invention from beginning to end. Oh, did I? Where'd it go? Right, sort of lost it. Okay. Right, there we go. Oh no! No. There he is. Yeah, you suspected the whole invention. Let's get out of that. Let's make it bigger. Right. And here's the proof. Your annotations of the histories. A mere fancies, sir. Notes for a fiction I'd mind to write. The fiction of Castrovalva. A civilization evolving out of tribal warfare into an ideal community. It is a fiction, and the thing that confirms it. Well, sir. It's on the tip of my mind. The books are 500 years old at least. But the books are old, but they chronicle the rise of Castrovalva up to the present day. I missed that one out. He should have said up to the present day, and then he has a realization. He's getting lost in the recursion too. We people know, but as you guessed, that we people of Castrovalva are too much part of this thing you call the occlusion. But you do see it, the spatial anomaly. But in my philosophy, there you go, a little bit was in the Escher paintings. Doctor. Well, speak, I gave you tongues. You are not the Portruve. Someone's been tampering with your perception threshold. That was a good line. Right, and this is when Castrovalva starts going a bit peculiar. And this is probably done on something like Quantel, the Quantel machine in the early 80s, a special effects machine. Right, and then how much is left here? There's not that much left. Ooh, right. Right, so this was actually done is they got a blue cloth, put some holes in it, and they're able to combine the image with the chroma key. This is the idea of Castrovalva collapsing. Oh dear, spoiler. Right, so just a wider shot of this set. Right, again, you got the set design there that matches. Right, now here, the most they could do with the special effects at the time was sort of show it an Escher type thing. So you've got them across the top, and this is upside down. So you've got these three people here. You've got Murgrave or Michael Bronson from Grange Hill, Peter Davison, Nissa, and then there they are there. The same people going under again. Adric created it. Oh, spoiler. What am I looking for, Doctor? Anything you don't recognize as Castrovalva. Right then. I think that's it. And what I did there is I cut some stuff out to that's more about the plot and what's going on. So that is the recursion in Castrovalva. So I would that is it. Hopefully the sound is okay. Right, I'll stop now.